How are we doing this evening? Hello, hello, good evening. Lovely to see you. A bit of music because I'm nice, but I think you would enjoy this. All right, so. I will sing over it so that you can hear the words. Powerful. Hi. How are we doing? Okay, so the song is God is Good by Jonathan McReynolds. Check it out. You will like it. It's soothing and the words are healing. Glory to God. Alright, so we'll just hold on for a few more minutes and then we can start today's session. Thank you for coming online. Thank you for joining me. Amazing. Yes, welcome to today's session. Oh my, I have forgotten to pin the topic again. I have forgotten. I planned to, but I forgot. In my excitement. Sorry. I'll put it in the caption. I'll put it in the notes. How are we doing this evening? Lovely to see you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. For everyone that will be coming online later to see this, thank you, and I hope it's useful for you. I believe it will be, but I hope you find value, right? I hope you find value. So last week, obviously, the topic we're talking about is visionary parenting, and it's a series that I'm doing all through this month, every Wednesday this month at 8 p.m. and I'm looking to talk to parents, to provide insights on what it is, to tell us why we need to adopt it if we haven't, to encourage us to make it clean and clear that this is what we're doing, and then to inform us of the benefits, also to give you tips on how you can deploy it, right? So what angles, what things to consider while putting this vision together, or what things to take into consideration while you are working on this plan, on this vision, implementing it, if you will. So that's my goal with this, and I hope it's useful for you. I hope the sessions are useful for you. So last week we talked about what vision is, and we said that a vision is the ability to see things, people, objects, things, situations, and not just in their present state, but as what they can become, obviously in a positive light, certainly in a positive light. Then visionary parenting will be seeing your child as who they can become, practically seeing them as who they have become, right? So that you can work along those lines, so that you can follow through having that vision, creating that picture, creating that vision, so that you can walk in that direction and make a plan. Because we spoke about intentional parenting too, which is working from the end to working with the end in mind. Okay, somebody is chatting with me, and I don't know why they're doing that right now because it's distracting me. Okay, thank you for not chatting with me anymore. So yes, intentional parenting is working with the end in mind, understanding that your child is going to grow up into this adult, and taking note of the needs of your child and preparing that child for that future that you see. So they're intertwined in one way or the other. So today we'll be looking at why you need to practice visionary parenting, why it is useful for you, why it is beneficial for you. So the first thing I'm going to be examining today is an explanation of the fact that how you see your child. Welcome, thank you for joining me. Hi, I'm waving right back. Welcome. Corona okay, and Uncle Dari, thank you for joining me. Good evening to you both. So how you see your child is how they will see themselves. The picture that you see of your child is what you're going to communicate to your child, right? As a parent, you confer on your child their identity. A child takes after the identity of the father, and the father before them. You can actually, it's been proven that you can raise sheep or raise a regular dog with wolves, and that dog has the audacity of a wolf because it is raised by wolves, because they gave that regular dog a mongrel, okay, its sense of identity. So you confer your identity, you confer that your child's sense of identity to them with your words and your actions. So what you see is what you give to them, right? So the question you want to ask yourself is, do your words and your actions communicate what you see? Which is the question here. What do you see? So if the picture you see is expected development, a human being that is self-regulated, that is able to handle themselves, that is capable of independent thought, that can see people as not just what they are, as who they can be, who can regard people, who is confident in themselves enough to be able to ascribe value to human beings, right? So do your words and your actions communicate to your child that they are loved, they are important, they are valued, they are respected, they are deserving of good things? And for Christians like myself, do your words communicate to your child the capacity of God, the attributes of God that they are supposed to be able to manifest? Do you see that? Do you see the creativity of God in your child? Do you see superior thinking? Do you see capacity to solve problems? Do you see love? Do you see kindness? We need to see our children in this light so that they can do the same thing. If we don't see it, they can't see it. And why can't they see it? If we don't see it, we can't communicate it to them. So as a visionary parent, you need to see that vision is what you will paint to your child of themselves. I don't know if I'm being clear here. What you see is what you will teach your child to see of themselves. You are their mirror. So a child arrives on earth blank. They don't have a sense of identity except you give it to them. And that's why I like to use the example of the royal family a lot. A child that is born in a sub-Saharan country is a human being. A child born in the Buckingham Palace has the same value, but their sense of identity would differ because of the perception that the people that are in care of them have of them, because they have an understanding that this person is in line to the throne. So they communicate to them with that understanding, and that understanding colors the identity that this child has of themselves. So they're able to see themselves as whole, as deserving, as respectable, as respected. I can use a whole number of positive adjectives to describe this person, but it is the people who are around this child that communicate this to the child. So what do you see? Your child is not of royal blood, fine, but you can see your child as royalty and communicate the same to them. So on the opposite side, your words do the opposite of that. Your vision of your child might be the issue, might be the key. So if you can see your child as royalty, you can communicate and paint that picture to your child with your words and actions, right? So that's my first point. Secondly, a defined goal will clarify the path to its achievement. It may not completely do that, but it generally will be able to do that. So you have a destination in mind. I am going to America. Clearly, I cannot go to, I live in Lagos, Nigeria. I can't go to Obalinde to get a bus. I know that what I need is a visa and a ticket, right? So the path to my getting to America is clear because of my vision, because my destination is defined, is clearly stated. And also I know what will mitigate that. I know what will stand in the way of me achieving that goal, right? So if my passport is expired now and I decide not to visit the passport office, the immigration people, to renew my passport, then I know that I have actively prevented myself from getting to where I'm going. So clarifying my goal tells me what I don't want to do. It tells me how I'm going to get there. It makes the path clear to me, and it tells me what I should not do if I want to achieve that goal. But if I don't even have a destination in mind, if I wake up and I step out of the house and I'm not going anywhere, then if I see a cab going to, say, Apapa, I will get on it. I don't have a destination. I don't have a direction. If I get to Apapa and then there's another bus going to Abuja, then I get on the bus. If there's a flight, if I find my way to the airport and there's a flight going to Port Harcourt, then I get on the flight. I don't have a destination, right? So as a parent, you cannot afford to stand in the way of your child's future. But how would you know if you're standing in the way of your child's future if you don't even see a future? That is a conundrum. That is a serious issue. So you don't even know if you are the one preventing this superstar in your house from becoming that world-class musician, because you don't even see the capacity to become a world-class musician. So when they say in their school, for instance, and they say, okay, can you learn to play an instrument? You say, no, we don't have time for that. You're standing in the way of that vision because you don't see it. If you saw it, then once the offer or the opportunity for your child to get better at music or to learn an instrument presents itself, then you will jump at it because you have seen a vision. I hope I'm making this as clear and uncomplicated as possible, right? So having a vision also means that you have to honestly answer the question, can you, in your current form, this is a soul-searching question, can you in your current form take this child to this destination that you see? This is after you have seen the destination, you have a vision, you have a future in mind. So you have to decide, you have to check with yourself, can you in your current form take this child on this journey? Who must you become? And how must you become that person as a parent? Because you have influence over your child. You have a responsibility to your child, and you have an opportunity to deliver a spectacular human being to our world, who you have been given the opportunity to care for and curate and groom and teach and train and disciple, right? So you ask yourself, who must I become? Once you have decided that you're not in your current form, you can't take that child there, then you are willing to learn. Because remember, you have answered that question of who you need to become to raise this exceptional individual. So you expose yourself to findings from the study of behavior. I tell parents, parenting is not an exact science. It is not, because our children surprise us. Even we surprise us, let alone our children. But behavior is. Behavior has been studied for years. And you can leverage the findings of such studies to support your child, to correctly and appropriately support your child, right? You are self-aware enough to acknowledge that you need to grow as a person. You need to evolve. You need to change. You need to let go of past hurts. You need to unlearn unhealthy patterns. You need to locate patience as a parent. You need to locate patience. You need to break free from cultural mindholds, from strongholds in your mind that are not useful for you because of the future that you see, right? So Having a vision clarifies, makes this apparent to you. So you don't need to be pushed to register for that course. You don't need to be encouraged to read that book, because you see a vision and you acknowledge that you are not ready. Okay, you want to fly a plane, but you don't have pilot training. If you desire to fly a plane enough, then you would enroll in aviation school. It is that picture that you see, that vision that you have, that propels you in the direction of learning, of gaining knowledge in that direction, to become the person that you need to become to raise your exceptional child. And it is possible. And I believe that you will do it. Number 4, vision attracts resources. Anybody who has ever done anything will tell you that vision, the fact that you have a thought, you have a picture in your mind. Let me use a car. You started thinking about this car, this 2020 model of a Mercedes or something. You begin to see it around, something that you didn't spot prior. You begin to look around, and it seems like everywhere you turn, this car is there. Or maybe it's something less scarce than a Mercedes. Maybe a Toyota. You find that, wow, a lot of people in this city I live in have this car. It's because you have seen it in your mind, and then your mind connects with it when you see it physically. So vision attracts resources. The law of attraction plays out in this scenario, and it tells us that you attract the physical equivalent of your most dominant thought. So you have this vision for your child, you have this picture. The resources to make that happen will begin to hover around you. It's a natural principle. It's the law of attraction. People, you want your child to learn languages, for instance, you will find out that you would spot some school, or somebody will mention something, and really it's not that those things were not there, but because it's on your mind connects with that information, and it reminds you that, oh yes, I want this child to learn French. Okay, so let me take this step in this direction. But if you didn't have any thought about that to begin with, then that information will fly over your head, and you won't know you have missed something very important for your child. I remember when my son and my husband and I started talking about our first son learning coding. We just wanted to expose him to it, really, and we had thought about it, and it seemed as though everywhere that we could learn coding was so far from our home. And then one day I was driving out and I spotted this sign, a coding school for children. It was that thought, right? It is that thought that made me spot that sign. But I believe that it is and then, okay, after speaking with the owner of the school, he said he had decided to discard the idea, that he wasn't getting patronage. But because I came, he would consider it. And in a few weeks or days, he called that he was ready to start a session, and our son could be part of it. So that tells you that when you have a picture, everything around you aligns. Everything around you would align to make that possible. So you need to practice visionary parenting. Number 5, your vision will birth a plan. Having a vision will birth a plan. I talked about taking a flight. Let me use the example of a person who gains admission into the university, and the person realizes what it would take, or wants a first class degree. Let me start from there. So the first class degree is the vision. This person who has thought about a first class degree from the first day of entering school is going to work towards it in a way that is more organized and more intentional than someone who is winging this school situation, who has entered school and let's just roll with it, let's see how it goes. Their results will be different, significantly better than the person who is just rolling with it. Okay, so that vision is what would make a person birth a plan. So as a parent, when you have a vision for your child, then your decisions, your choices form a framework that you work with and you walk in to get the child to that destination. You don't need to be encouraged. You don't need to be told. You have an idea. You have a direction. Serena Williams, I like to use herself and her sister as an example. Their parents saw world-class tennis players, and that formed the choices that they made for their children, because what happened to them was not an accident. It wasn't sheer luck. It was intentional actions placed on top of each other, right? In sync with each other that guaranteed their results. So successful parenting can be predictable with a plan. Yes, with a vision that has birthed a plan. Lastly, I'll talk about how the world has evolved and how you must with it as a parent. You can't use your default parenting templates to raise your child. If you have a vision, then you understand that what obtained when you were growing up, when we were growing up in our generation and generations prior, is a whole different ball game right now. Now we're talking about Generation Z. After we'll be talking about Generation Alpha. Their systems, their ideologies are different. And you have to have a vision in alignment with the way things are. You can't run your templates, your default parenting templates to raise your child. It's not going to work. I believe that every generation is an improvement over the previous generation. So if that is the case, how do you expect analog and digital to explain things to each other and it will make sense? It won't. So understanding that the world has evolved and you have to do likewise in casting your vision would help you to put in the work where necessary, to study where necessary, to talk to a professional where necessary. I'm still going to talk about benefits of having a vision. I'm already going there, but I didn't plan to go that far tonight. So I want you to take your time this evening or whenever it is that you watch this to think, to have a picture in mind, concerning your child. List every area of their child. I'm going to talk about systems in our last session, but list everything that you think is significant and have a plan, curate a plan for this child so that the destination will be defined and you'll be able to hit it. Now, not everybody is going to raise an exceptional child. Look around us today. Not everybody is going to make waves, right? But the people that try are going to get close enough. And I believe in you. I believe in you as a parent. I believe you're going to put in the effort and you're going to try. And it's going to start with that vision that you're going to start thinking about now. That you're going to write out in respect of your child, taking what you have seen about them, around them, into consideration. Right? Thank you for watching this evening. I know it's brief. I intended for it to be brief. But thank you for watching. And I'll see you next week, Wednesday, when we will talk about benefits of practicing visionary parenting. Thank you again. Have a good evening.